there.
I could either say one with many interpretations or just infinite.
Nope.
What's your favorite gender? To be.
The one I am.
Chocolate.
Watermelon.
Purple. Purple.
What gender are you?
I don't know. But why does there even have to be a spectrum?
And you cannot
this, and then
not
she
specify.
did that,
That's
and then
something that is
she,
always
because for
important,
some
and that
reason
you
gender
always
is
have to talk about if you want to talk about them,
pronouns
unless
are
you're
he
using
and
some
she.
sort of
And then
pronoun
she
that you and
said
your friends have
this,
agreed
and then
is a
she
pronoun
did
that you will
that, and then
understand. So we will use
because
Z
for
and
some
here, but it's
reason
really
pronouns
hard
are
because it's
he
so
and
ingrained.
she.
She said,
And I just think that's
this,
such a ridiculous
and then
thing
she
that
did that,
when
and
you
then
are talking about
she,
anyone,
because for some
you
reason,
always
and then
specify their
she
gender.
said
Like it's
this,
so
and
core
then
and central
she
to their
did
being that
and
you
then
would have to do that.
she,
And that
because
just,
for
that
some reason
seems really
gender
stupid.
is important.
Why is it that when there is a group of mixed gender, we always would use you guys? You know, if it's a bunch of guys, that makes sense because it is you guys. If it's a bunch of girls, we won't. Sometimes we will say you guys. Hey, you guys. Even though clearly, you know, in a group like this, you could say, hey, you girls. Although that sounds funny, but why? But specifically in mixed gender groups, why do we refer to them as you guys, not you all, or the Pittsburghian yins?
Yeah, right.
Yins, or I like just plural yous, more than one you. Why do we feel that it has to be you guys? If it was a group of guys and we referred to them as hey ladies, they'd get really ticked. But when a group they would. But if you said to a group of gals, hey guys,
Something you can say now, for some reason, is, hey, you bitches, right? Like, you can talk about people as being bitches, or guys, right? Like, but the female version of that is bitches. What gender are you?
I don't know.
You just told us earlier that you're straight, right? So you've got your sexuality down. You know that whatever it is you like, it's the one that's not you. But you don't know what you are. What's your gender?
I haven't assigned myself one today.
What gender is your husband?
Male?
So, are you only straight when you assign yourself a female gender, and other times you are what?
Nope, I'm always straight. I just choose to be different genders based arbitrarily on nothing.
Watermelon.
Purple.
I don't have any idea what that means. I'm gonna be honest. That sounds really inaccessible to me. Like, I'm gonna be a watermelon today, and that's gonna be the way that I express my sexuality and my gender.
What I'm trying to say is that it shouldn't matter what the title is. Like, if you choose to use male, female, purple, none of that should actually mean anything. It's like, it's just another word.
What's your gender?
I haven't assigned myself one today.
Well, I definitely think there's more than two. Well, I definitely think there's more.
What's your gender?
I definitely think there's more than two genders. More than two genders. I think there's more than. I think there's more than two genders.
Watermelon.
Purple.
None of that should actually mean anything. It's just like it's just another. I haven't
What's your
assigned
gender?
myself one today. I haven't assigned myself one today. But why does there even have to be a spectrum?
What's your gender?
Actually, my idea of gender is more linked to personality. Well, I definitely think there's more than two genders.
I haven't assigned myself.
What's
one
your
today.
gender?
I'm gender fluid. How's that any different than claiming to be female?
What's your gender?
None of that should actually mean anything. It's like it's just another word.
I would say I'm female, but that can mean any number of different things on different days.
I mean, if I'm like identifying, I'm female, right? Why does it have to mean something? Why does it have to have a specific connotation? Like Aaron said, it means different things on different days. So if I was to say I'm gender fluid, how is that any different than claiming to be female?
How is that any different than claiming to be female?
If female means you're different things on different days, it doesn't have any one set meaning. Doesn't that? Why does it matter what you choose? But why does there even have to be a?
I came out as transgender. I started dating a drag king. The drag king is actually lesbian identified. And then she said, I can't date someone and use male pronouns because I am a lesbian, and she just came out as a lesbian I think 2 years ago, so she's very into like lesbian pride. She totally got it. She's a gender studies major in college. I was worried that I was separating from the lesbian community, I'm still very much a part of it. The problem is, it's not so much a problem for me to date lesbians, but sometimes it's a problem for them. I'm still the same person. I'm still the same person. I'm still the same person.
Actually, my idea of gender is more linked to personality than to stereotypical norms. It's more about, like, every person has a different gender, because I've never really met anyone that expresses their gender in the exact same way as someone else. Like, even people that identify, you know, strictly as male or strictly as female are different than other females and different than other males, you know? So it's sort of, it's hard for me to say that there is gender in the first place. If there was a spectrum, that would be a really weird looking spectrum. And it would have to be fluid, because each person changes their gender, or at least their gender presentation, you know, even within the quote-unquote normal bounds of changing your gender presentation.
I just wanted to clarify that today's the 28th. I think before I said it was the 27th, but I had just woken up, so I wasn't totally with it. Yeah, so I had my shot. No patches. I'm on T through my butt. Shot it right in here. Shot it right in here. Shot it right in here.
I went to school in the South. I've been in the South for 9 years, and I didn't have an easy time with it. Not because there aren't queer people here, because there are queer people here. But it's hard to fit in with the communities here, because I seem to fall in between a lot of the groups. There's a lot of different queer people, and they're all lumped together, though, in little different groups, and I'm in between them. I'm too out for the F to M's, because a lot of them are stealth, or I live as a man, but I don't identify as a male, and I think that's totally possible. But that confuses a lot of people, because I use men and women in my language to represent gender identity and presentation, and male and female specifically for sex identifiers. I'm comfortable with the fact that I'm not male-bodied, was not assigned male at birth, but I can live as a man, and that's okay with me, and I don't have to be male-bodied. That threatens a lot of the people down here, and I've just come across so many trans guys down here that need to believe that they are completely 100% physiologically the same as a male person, and I'm not, and I'm okay with that. Because there are people who are F to M or masculine identified who are also femme identified in different parts of the country, but I have not found that here. Even the guys that used to identify as butch don't identify as butch trans men. They just become men. Whereas in other places I've noticed someone who's butch identified can transition and still be a butch identified person. You're kind of a man or you're not. And if you're a femme, you're not really a man. They definitely consider me more like their girlfriends, and that's fine because I actually get along with their girlfriends a lot better. There's a group of radical femmes here, and they've been the most supportive to me, but I'm the only guy there. So it's a little odd. I don't necessarily mind, but sometimes I do want to be in sort of a more masculine environment. Being a femme guy has its own specific things that we have to deal with, and I haven't met anyone else around here like that. But I know that they exist. And, you know, when I've talked to other people about how hard it is to be the only guy like me here, to be the only person who identifies as a femme, the only person who strongly identifies as F to M and as trans and not as a male, that they've said that as much as I'd like to go away and that it would be easier for me in another place and that I would possibly have more friends in another place, that my being here has been important to the rest of the community. I've definitely had to explain to some trans men what genderqueer means because they never even heard what genderqueer is. There's some guys that have never encountered the genderqueer community. They were just guys, and they transitioned, and there was only the transsexual experience. This is the South, and a lot of people here live in the country, in farmland, and there's not much else for them to see but the guys that work in farms.